Assalamu alaikum. This is Mongra Singh, welcoming you all to the English news from Btv Chattogram. Let's begin with the headlines. A Bangladesh-UAE relationship hope to deepen as UAE Health Minister calls on Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus on sidelines of World Government Summit in Dubai. Notification issued on National Consensus Commission to consider and adopt recommendations submitted by 6 commissions. UN investigation report on mass killings during anti-discrimination student movement to be submitted to International Crimes Tribunal as proof, says Chief Prosecutor. BNP files allegations with International Crimes Tribunal accusing 500, including a fascist Sheikh Hasina, as main culprit on charges of killings during anti-discrimination student movement. Foreign travelers to get on-arrival visas within 10 minutes at airports, says Home Advisor. US President Trump speaks with Russian counterpart Putin over negotiations to end Ukraine war. And Bangladesh national cricket team set to leave for United Arab Emirates to play ICC Champions Trophy. Viewers, those were the headlines. Now moving on to the details. The Minister of Health of the United Arab Emirates, Abdul Rahman bin Mohammed Al Wais, called on Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus on the sideline of the World Government Summit in Dubai today. During the meeting, the minister thanked the Chief Advisor for joining the prestigious annual summit of top government leaders, saying his presence has uplifted the gathering. He hoped that Bangladesh-UAE relationship would deepen during the tenure of the interim government and both nations would expand trade, business and health ties in the coming days. The Chief Advisor Professor Yunus said he was impressed with the progress made by the UAE in the health sector and prevention of major diseases. He also thanked the UAE for hosting over 1 million Bangladeshis. A foreign advisor to Hussain, the special envoy of the Chief Advisor Lutfi Siddiqui and Chief Coordinator of SDGs Lamia Morshed also joined the meeting. The government has formed a 7-member Jatiya ঐক্যমত Commission led by Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus to consider and adopt the recommendations submitted by 6 commissions. A notification in this regard was issued on Wednesday by the Cabinet Division. The Commission's other members are Constitutional Reform Commission Chief Professor Ali Riyaj, a Public Administration Reform Commission Chief Abdul Mueyyid Chaudhry, Police Reform Commission Chief Safaraj Hussain, Election Reform Commission Chief Bodil Alam Majumdar, Judicial Reform Commission Chief Justice Emdadul Haq and Anti-Corruption Reform Commission Chief Dr. Iftikhar Juman. The newly formed commission will start functioning from February 15 and its tenure has been fixed for next 6 months. The commission will hold discussion with political parties and forces to form a national consensus to consider and accept the recommendation of the commissions formed for reforms in the election system, public administration, judiciary and anti-corruption, including police activities. The Commission will recommend steps in this regard later. The Chief Advisor's Office will perform the secretarial duties of this Commission, the notification also said. The investigation report of the United Nations on the mass killings during the anti-discrimination student movement will be submitted to the International Crimes Tribunal as approved. Chief Prosecutor of the Tribunal Advocate Tajul Islam said this at a briefing today. At that time, He called upon the government to terminate the members of the forces involved in torture. The BNP has filed allegations with the International Crimes Tribunal accusing 500 people, including fascist Sheikh Hasina as main culprit, on charges of killing its leaders and activists across the country during the anti-discrimination student movement. At that time, the BNP submitted a list of 848 martyrs of July-August. The allegation was filed in the morning today, said coordinator of the information cell of the BNP's lawsuit affairs, Salahuddin Khan. A former Home Minister Asaduজ্জামান Khan Kamal, Law Minister Anisul Haq, State Minister for Information Arafat, and high official of police are among the accused. Leaders of the BNP submitted a list of the dead as well as copies of FIR of 84 lawsuits and audio-video clips. The interim government and political parties will decide if the constitution will be reformed through referendum, said head of the Constitution Reform Commission, Dr. Ali Raater. He said this at a briefing of the Constitution Reform Commission at the LD Hall of the Jatiya সংসদ today. Ali Raater, also the Vice President of the National Consensus Commission, said a centralization of power and misuse of the Constitution will be stopped if a Constitution Council is formed. This council will help strengthen democratic institutions and processes, he added. Responding to queries from journalist Dr. Ali Raater said, recommendations have been made so that the Prime Minister can't hold more than one post. Recommendations have also been made to reform Article 70 of the Constitution to ensure accountability of the Prime Minister to the MPs of her or his party. A 6-member delegation of Bangladesh Jamaat-e-Islam has held meeting with Chief Election Commissioner A.M.M. Nasiruddin and other commissioners. The meeting was held today at the Election Commission building in the capital's Agargaon. While briefing after the meeting, Jamaat-e-Islami Secretary General Mia Ghulam Parwar said there should be no election in the country without necessary reformations. He said that holding election without reforms will not ensure a free and fair election. Therefore, Bangladesh Jamaat-e-Islami does not want an election before the necessary reformation are implemented. Mia Ghulam Parwar said they have placed 23-point demands on behalf of Jamaat-e-Islami. He said Jamaat wants local government elections before the national election based on the people's demands. Jamaat-e-Islami Secretary General called for the repeal of the strict regulations in the law regarding the registration of political parties. In response to a question, the Jamaat Secretary General said Jamaat is preparing to contest in all 300 constituencies and has finalized its candidates. Currently, the issue of Jamaat registration is pending in court. He also expressed hope that Jamaat would receive fair justice and be granted the scale symbol. Home Advisor retired Lieutenant General Jahangir Alam Chaudhary has said foreign travelers will get on-arrival visas in Bangladesh within 10 minutes at the airports. He said on-arrival visa will be given for 30 days. Jahangir Alam made the remarks while speaking at the inaugural ceremony of the online app for visa on arrival at the Secretariat on Thursday. The citizens of the European Union, the United States, Australia, and 14 other countries will get the facility. Earlier, it would take 40 minutes to 1 hour for the processing of an on-arrival visa. Now it will take only 10 minutes. The Home Advisor also said that the government has taken initiative to simplify passport verification and reduce complications in the application process. He asked applicants to call 999 if they face any problem with their passport application. BNP has welcomed the report of the United Nations on July-August genocide in Bangladesh. While briefing today after the meeting with diplomats, Btv Secretary General Major Fakhrul Islam Alamgir said, the report of the United Nations has proved that the genocide took place on the orders of the Sheikh Hasina. He also urged India to return the murdered Sheikh Hasina. Now, international news. U.S. President Donald Trump said he spoke with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Wednesday about starting negotiations immediately to end the war in Ukraine, and said he would call Ukraine's president to inform him of the conversation. Trump's prioritization of speaking with Russia before Ukraine is a departure from the policy of the Biden administration that stressed nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine. Trump said the two leaders agreed on the pressing need to stop the killing in Ukraine. The war began 3 years ago when Moscow invaded its neighbor. In response, the U.S. and its NATO allies have sent billions of dollars in military aid and other support to Kiev. Trump said he and Putin agreed to work closely together and visit each other's nations. Hamas says the group will continue to implement the Gaza ceasefire agreement in accordance with what was signed, including the exchange of the prisoners according to the specified timetable. Earlier, Israeli Defense Minister Israeli Katz again threatened to resume the war on Gaza, jeopardizing the release of 3 Israeli captives scheduled for Saturday. Hamas officials have held talks in the Egyptian capital, Cairo, with mediators Egypt and Qatar to address obstacles including an Israeli ban on entry of heavy machinery and mobile homes in Gaza. Gaza's health ministry confirms 48,239 deaths in Israeli war on Gaza, while 111,676 people have been wounded. The government media office has updated the death toll to at least 61,709 people, saying thousands missing under the rubble are now presumed dead. Now, sports news. Cricket. Bangladesh national cricket team is all set to leave for the United Arab Emirates at midnight to play the ICC Champions Trophy, which will also be played in Pakistan. Bangladesh's captain held a press conference on Wednesday where he said the team needs collective efforts to do well and needs to score 300 plus to compete against top teams like India, Pakistan and New Zealand. In their first match, Bangladesh will take on India on February 20 in Dubai. The Tigers will face New Zealand in Rawalpindi on February 24 and Pakistan in their last match in the group stage at the same venue on February 27. However, the 9th edition of the ICC Champions Trophy will begin with a match between Pakistan and New Zealand in Karachi on February 19.